I still remember the exact moment my world shattered. I was sitting in that cold courtroom, the wooden bench hard against my back, when the judge read the final ruling. My older sister, Elena, stood up slowly, turned toward me, and smiled, a real, satisfied smile that reached her eyes. Finally, she said loud enough for everyone to hear, "The house is mine. My name is Sophia." That house wasn't just bricks and mortar to me. It was the only home I had ever known. The place where Mom sang in the kitchen, where Dad taught me to ride a bike in the backyard, and where I held both their hands as they took their last breaths. After they passed, I was the one who stayed. I paid the taxes, fixed the leaking roof, and kept their memories alive. Elena? She moved out at 18, chased her big city dreams, and only came back when she needed money. But blood is supposed to mean something, right? At least that's what I believed. When the will was read, everything seemed clear. The house was left to both of us, but with the understanding that I would keep it as our family home. Elena had other plans. She hired a shop lawyer, dug up old family arguments, and claimed I had manipulated our parents in their final years. She painted me as the greedy one. I sat there frozen as the gavel came down. The house, my home, was awarded to her. She walked past my seat, leaned in close, and whispered, "You always thought you were the good daughter. Look at you now." Then she smiled again for the cameras outside the courthouse like she had just won the lottery. That night I cried until there were no tears left. I packed what little I could take and moved into a tiny rented room. Friends told me to let it go. Family is family, they said. But how do you let go of everything that made you who you are? I felt so small, so broken. The betrayal cut deeper than any knife could. My own sister had looked me in the eye and taken the last piece of our parents I had left. I didn't sleep for weeks. Every night I saw that smile. But in the darkness, something inside me began to shift. Pain slowly turned into a quiet, burning resolve. I realized I couldn't just accept this. Not without finding the truth. The first few months after the court decision were the hardest. I drove past the house almost every day like a ghost haunting its own life. Elena had already started remodeling. She tore down Mom's beloved rose garden and put up a modern fence. She posted pictures online with captions like, "Finally home where I belong." Each post felt like another slap. I tried to move on. I found a small job at a local bookstore and kept my head down. But the questions never stopped. Why did the judge rule that way? How did Elena afford such an expensive lawyer? Something didn't add up. One rainy afternoon, I met an old family friend, Mr. Harlan, at the cafe. He had been Dad's lawyer for years. After some hesitation, he admitted he had been shocked by the court outcome too. There were documents submitted that I never prepared, he told me quietly. Signatures that looked off. That was the moment everything changed. I started digging. I spent nights going through old emails, bank records, and anything I could find. What I discovered shattered the last piece of trust one had in my sister. Elena had forged documents. She had created fake letters suggesting our parents wanted her to have the full property. She had even paid someone to backdate signatures. It wasn't just greed, it was calculated. While I was caring for Mom and Dad in their final years, she was planning how to take everything. When I confronted her through a lawyer, she laughed on the phone. "You have no proof, Sophia. Move on with your little life." Her confidence was chilling. She had already started talking about selling the house to developers for a big profit. I felt rage, but also deep sadness. This wasn't just about a house anymore. It was about every birthday she missed, every holiday she skipped. And every time she made me feel like I was less than her. The sister I once looked up to had become someone I barely recognized. Yet the more I learned, the stronger I felt. I stopped crying every night. Instead, I started planning. I gathered every piece of evidence quietly. I found a new lawyer who specialized in inheritance fraud. Someone who believed me. We built a strong case for appeal, but we also found something else, hidden accounts. Money Elena had moved around to hide her scheme. The betrayal had broken me, but it also woke me up. I was no longer the quiet little sister who let things happen to her. I was ready to fight. The day of the new hearing arrived 6 months later. Elena walked into the courtroom with the same confident smile, expecting another easy win. She even waved at a few relatives like this was all just a silly misunderstanding. But this time I was prepared. My lawyer presented the evidence one by one. The forged documents with expert analysis proving they were fake, bank transfers showing payments to a document forger, and even recorded conversations where Elena admitted parts of her plan to a friend. The courtroom went completely silent. Elena's face went pale. That famous smile faded as the judge reviewed the new evidence. She tried to speak, but her words stumbled. For the first time, she looked small. The ruling came faster than I expected. The previous decision was overturned. The house was returned to me fully. Not only that, Elena was ordered to pay back all the legal fees, the remodeling costs she had wasted, and damages for fraud. The smile she had worn so proudly that first day in court was gone, replaced by shock and tears. As we left the courtroom, she stopped me in the hallway. "Sophia, please," she whispered. "We're family." I looked at her for a long moment. "We were," I said softly. "But family doesn't do what you did." I walked away without another word. Today I'm back in the house. I planted new roses in Mom's garden. The rooms are filled with their photos again. It feels like home once more, not just because I want it back, but because I finally stood up for myself. Elena lost more than the house. She lost her reputation in our town, many family relationships, and most importantly, she lost me. Last I heard, she moved away and is still dealing with the financial consequences of her choices. Looking back, I don't feel hate anymore. Just peace. The betrayal taught me that sometimes the people closest to you can hurt you the most. But it also showed me my own strength. I learned that justice doesn't always come fast, but truth has a way of surfacing when you refuse to stay silent. If you're watching this and going through your own betrayal, whether it's family, a partner, or someone you trusted, please remember this: your pain doesn't define you. Let it fuel you. Protect your peace, gather your truth, and keep going. The smile they wear today may not last. Thank you for listening to my story. If it touched you, please share it with someone who needs to hear it. Take care of yourselves.